We always think of Disney movies as films for children, and they are. However, there is darkness to many of the children's tales, and many of them are riddled with tragedy. Not only that, but these movies also share a recurring pattern of a missing parent. And if you think about it, it's mostly the mother that is missing in the Disney's films, and not the father. But why the mothers? Is it to encourage men to be maternal? Are mothers a barrier to the main character's strength and growth? Starting with 1937's Witch Murdering Snow White and ending with the parent drowning Frozen in 2013, mothers have always been a huge part of Disney movies. Cinderella had a wicked stepmother, who was also her arch enemy during the whole film.
You clumsy little fool. Clean that up. And then help my daughter's dress.
Nemo's mother got killed by a barracuda. Bambi's mother got killed by a shotgun. Tarzan got adopted by Kala, who was the reason he survived as a baby with no parents in the jungle. Tangled had an evil adoptive mother who kidnapped Rapunzel from her biological parents when Rapunzel was an infant, and many more. However, many of Disney's movies did not have a parent, specifically a mother. For example, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, The Little Mermaid, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Jasmine from Aladdin, and Lilo and Nani from Lilo and Stitch. But why is that? Activist and filmmaker Jennifer Baumgartner explains that it's because losing a parent is inherently dramatic and terrifying, and that it is one of the primal fears that children have about their primal relationships. Every mother in Disney movies, whether she is present or not, affects the main character's development.
You will always be my mother.
And you will always be in my heart.
Disney mothers can be divided into 5 different categories. Absent mothers and biological mothers are the most represented category, both taking up 33%, followed by killed mothers, 19%, adoptive mothers, 10%, and then wicked stepmothers at 5%. Dividing Disney movies into categories helps us realize how all of them are related in some kind of way. Dead or killed mothers imply that the father is going to get remarried, which means a wicked stepmother. Biological parents die, a mother adopts the child. Each paternal category helps with the plot development of every movie. Bambi was forced to acquire the survival skills necessary to thrive in the forest after his mother's death. Bambi would not have taken these steps if he was still under maternal protection. Belle did not have a mother, but she did have a father who was dependent on her, which made her step up into that maternal position earlier than she would have normally. If Nemo's mother hadn't died, then maybe his father would not be as protective, and that would lead them to not being as close as they are by the end of the movie.
Love you, Dad.
I love you too, son.
And the same applies to the rest of the motherless Disney movies. But why are there so many absent mothers? Does it have to do with the time these movies were made in? Jack Sipes, the author of Happily Ever After, explains that, historically speaking, people did not live very long from the medieval period through the early 20th century, and that women died frequently from childbirth. During the early 20th century, the statistics of maternal mortality were significantly high. It was really common for women to die from childbirth. This does not only explain why there are so many dead mothers, but it also explains why there are so many stepmothers. Jack Sipes also explains that men tended to marry quickly after their wives died, as in Snow White and Cinderella. Also, according to Katie Orstein, author of Little Red Riding Hood Uncloaked, stepmothers were quite common, and warfare over the inheritance was a serious matter. But what about the recent Disney movies like Lilo and Stitch? The single-parent figure pattern was still there. According to a report in 2014 in Demography, the divorce rate in the U.S. has been steadily increasing for the past 30 years. Other statistics have shown that towards the 21st century, divorce rates have been increasing, and still through today. Is the motherless pattern ever going to come to an end? Well, it depends on what the statistics would be like in the next couple of years, because according to Don Hahn, executive producer of Maleficent, Disney movies are affected by what is going on in the world.
Films and filmmakers are a product of their time. So, we tend to make movies, everyone does, that reflect their time and their family and what's going on in the world. so it's funny, when we were making Lion King, it was the year that apartheid fell in South Africa, and Mandela came out, and it was all about Africa, and it was in the air, and so you tend to reflect the world around you. I think even Walt Disney, when he was making his films in the 30s, when you look at those first 5 films that Walt Disney made, Snow White and Bambi and Dumbo and Fantasia, they are gritty, they're brilliant, they're mythological. So he was making movies that very much reflected the era he was in. So I think that's the biggest thing, is the stories kind of reflect who we are as people in that era.
But why does Disney do that? Why mainly mothers? Disney's motherless plotline has been repetitively used for over 80 years now.
Well, a mother, a real mother, is the most wonderful person in the world. She's the angel voice that bids you good night, kisses your cheek, whispers, sleep tight.
Disney movies always had the concept of children accepting responsibility and being independent from their parents. Disney movies convey the coming of age, and the absence of the mother forces the youthful main characters to venture into the larger world without maternal guidance and protection, to learn the lessons necessary to overcome difficulties, and to grow up faster.
But let me ease your conscience. This is part of growing up. A little rebellion, a little adventure, that's good, healthy even.
You think?
I know.
Not only does it help characters turn into adults faster, but it creates dramatic interest in the main characters. On the other hand, some people say the reason behind these motherless movies is the death of Walt Disney's own mother, Flora. Around 1940, Walt Disney decided that he wanted to buy his parents a house after his success with Snow White. That's when there was a major gas leak that went unnoticed and was the cause for his mother's death. According to Don Hahn, Disney never spoke about his mother's death, nor did anyone at the time, but after this accident, it was believed Walt Disney blamed himself, and he never spoke about it. However, this cannot be the reason for it, as the pattern of motherless Disney films was established well before Flora's death. Snow White had been completed and released, and Bambi and Pinocchio were already in production. Snow White's parents were absent, and she was in the care of her vain and wicked stepmother. Bambi's mother was killed by a hunter early on in the film, and Pinocchio was a marionette with an owner or maker, but no parents. Not only that, but Disney movie stories were also based on traditional literature tales, which already had the motherless aspect. There lies a gendered pattern in Disney movies that had been carried out through history. Mothers have always been and always will be a big part of Disney's movies, all because of their absence.